Please, I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Hello, how are you this Christmas day? Yes, it is Christmas. Christmas 2024. So if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, Happy December 25th to you. How the heck are you guys? Is it weird that I'm doing a podcast on Christmas? Does that make me seem alone and lonely? I'm alone, but I am not lonely. Remember, I am an only child. Alone is my jam. Alone is absolutely cool with me. I got to do my Christmas on Monday. I got to do it a couple of days ago with my family. So I got to hang out with my family and see them. And so I'm not feeling sorry for myself that I'm by myself on Christmas. I'm actually loving it, to be honest. I know that sounds terrible, but it's great because this is my first day off in a gajillion years. And I've been working 5.5, 6 days a week, anywhere from 10 to 14-hour shifts. So I'm a little pooped. We're down a staff member right now, so I am running around, but I'm loving it. I thrive on the stress. I like the stress. It's fine. It's just nice to put my feet up and have the day to just relax. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a drinker, as I've talked about. And I don't really care for drinking, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to day drink. I'm going to put a little eggnog, cream liqueur stuff. It's like this eggnog cream liqueur, which is weird because I'm very strange about eggnog. Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I don't. I'm okay with like one glass or half of a glass of eggnog, like on Christmas, maybe Thanksgiving, and then I'm good. I don't need eggnog ever again. But for whatever reason, I saw this little pint of eggnog liqueur, and I thought, let's put that in some coffee. I don't know why. It just sounded good. So I am going to spend this Christmas doing a podcast, watching some really cheesy stuff. I don't know. I can't decide if I'm going to watch documentaries because I absolutely love documentaries, especially those like How It's Made or the like mega yachts, mega hotels, all the like how it's made or how the states got their shapes, that kind of stuff. Oh my God, love it. Love that shit. Or do I want to go completely like do reality stuff like Project Runway or Chopped or Iron Chef, stuff like that? I don't know. But or maybe I want to watch New Girl or The Middle. I don't know. Psych. I love Psych. So I don't know. But the point is, I'm going to watch whatever. I'm going to probably snack a lot. I'm going to play some dumb games on my iPad. I have this one home design game that I like, but then I also have this really expensive, amazing, it's not an architect. It's a design. It's an actual like 3D design. We can do floor plans and stuff. I don't know. I might fiddle with that. The world is mine today. It feels great. Plus, I have my blinds open, so I'm a peeping Tom today. I'm checking out the world on Christmas, seeing what everybody's up to. I mean, what a good combination. Doing a little day drinking, watching whatever I feel like watching, playing silly games, and checking out what people are doing. I mean, that's a good day. I'm not going to complain about that. Plus, I have my dogs with me, and they're keeping me company. I just took them out. So, It's Christmas and I'm by myself, and that is okay. I'm not dissing my family. I'm not trying to say thank God because I love my family. It's just like I said, I already did. My other son has to work today. He's working. So shout out on everybody that's working, like all the first responders, or anybody that is working today, all the caregivers and stuff out there. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody out there that is working on the holidays, that works on any of the holidays. Shout out to people that work when they're stressed, when they're really sad, when they're going through a lot and they don't want to, when they're exhausted. Shout out to everybody that gets up no matter what and makes it to work. God, I used to work with people and it drove me insane. They were young kids. And I'm not saying that all young people are like this at all because I don't think they are. I've met many younger, when I say younger, I'm talking like 17 to 22. For me, that's young. I'm not trying to put you down or be condescending. I'm just saying for me at 50, between 17 and 22 is young. But so this is nothing against them, but the particular younger people I've worked with, speaking of them in particular, used to drive me crazy because they wanted to take personal days off. I need a personal day. I really am feeling emotional and I just can't handle today. I just really need to go home and take a personal day. And she was 19. Now, I'm not saying that at 19 you can't have things on your mind or things that bother you or stress you out or make you sad or angry. And I'm not saying that you can't be tired. But, you know, seriously, but you can't. No, just kidding. I mean, I was 19 and I had a son and I worked full time and I was also going to school part time and I didn't have time for a personal day. Now, it was my choice to have a child. So I know people are like, well, you chose that. Yes, I did. I did choose that. I chose life. I chose life. I chose not to get an abortion. And I also chose because I did choose life and to have a child, I chose to work and I chose to go to school and make sure that I wasn't on welfare for my whole life. I did use welfare, and I've said all along on every podcast that I'm not against people using it to help them get to where they need to be, to help them as a stepping stone. Just don't stay on it. Don't make that your goal. Don't make it your mission where you're just not even going to try to get off of it. So I needed a personal day. I didn't have time to take a personal day. If I took a personal day, I didn't get a paycheck. My kids don't get cared for. I don't finish school. So I don't know. I feel really bad that I do this and it's shitty that I do this, but I have a tendency to get annoyed when in my eyes, which this is so narcissistic of me, really narcissistic, because I don't know what people are going through behind closed doors. But when I hear people complain about their lives, when I do know them, when I do know what's going on, I mean, I may not always know what's going on behind closed doors because what people tell me and what I think I know may be a totally different story because there's a lot going on in my life that people don't know about. There's a lot going on in my life that I don't talk about and I don't bring to work and I don't bring, in public. So I understand that my coworkers, I may think that I know them, but I'm sorry, she's 19. She doesn't have a lot of deep shit going on. I mean, again, she could add a lot of deep shit going on, but you know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm saying? Everything was a personal day. Everything stressed her out. Every single time anything happened in the world, anytime someone said boo, she shut down. And those kind of people, I just don't have respect for. And it sounds terrible, but it's weak. I don't mean weak as in, if you're weak as in feeble, I feel bad for you. If you actually have stuff going on in your life, I'm a compassionate person. I absolutely sympathize and I want to help. But I just really bothers me. Whiners and weak people that are weak minded bother me. We all have our days where we don't handle things well. We all have our times when we shut down emotionally, when well, I shouldn't say shut down emotionally, when we have a temper tantrum, when we are feeling sorry for ourselves, when we're stressed or sad over things that maybe 80% of the population would think we're being dramatic about and being silly about. I get that. That happens sometimes. That's normal. We're humans. We have emotions. And, sometimes sometimes we're going to be a little drama queen, drama king. But I'm talking those that are just can't seem to handle life at all. And just everything is such a big deal. And they're the Eeyore kind, and they're the kind that make every excuse in the world for why they don't have what they want, why they haven't obtained their goals. And those that just have something that happened to them, and then, yes, take your time to be sad, take your time um, to heal, but then get the fuck back to work. Then get up, brush yourself off, take a shower, brush your teeth, brush your hair, and take a breath and get the fuck back out there. Like I feel like Cersei sometimes because I I can't stand when people are really weak minded. It just bothers me. And I know that's a horrible thing to say. Again, I'm not talking about people that are sad sometimes. I'm not talking about people that have had something genuinely traumatic happen to them, that have gone through some big deal stuff and then have been sad about it or frustrated or angry about it. Obviously, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be. You absolutely should. I'm talking about those that just they just can't handle life and that can never brush themselves back off and just, I don't know. And like, the reason I'm stalling and kind of tripping over my words here is I'm trying to decide how honest I want to be here. But I just don't like it when people are big fat babies, put it that way. It bothers me. I'm like, man up, suck it up, buttercup, put on your big kid pants, put on your big boy pants, your big girl pants, and rub some dirt in it and quit crying about it. I don't know. I was a long time ago, my oldest son, like I said, I was 19 when I had him, and he was like 5 years old at the time. And I was in Fred Meyer, and he was just this angel child who had never thrown temper tantrums, like ever. He never cried. Slept through the night. I didn't understand why people didn't have a million kids, because I was like, this shit is easy, because he was such a good kid. He just, like I said, he slept through the night right away. He never cried. He ate his food. He just was such a good child. Didn't throw temper tantrums until this one day. I was at Fred Meyer, and he wanted to go, and I wasn't ready yet. And he threw himself on the ground and threw a temper tantrum. And I said, okay, while you're throwing a temper tantrum, I'm going to be over here. So when you're done, let me know. Now, obviously, I was not going to leave my child or keep him out of sight. I just walked to the end of the aisle and kept an eye on him. So I wasn't going to actually leave him. I don't want someone to kidnap him. And this woman walked up and thought that it was just the worst thing in the world. But my point to that was I wasn't going to allow his temper tantrum to shut my day down. And nor was I going to allow his temper tantrum to have him get his way. I didn't want him to think that throwing a fit was going to be rewarded, that he was going to get something out of it. I didn't want him to think throwing a fit was an option. I wanted to take that option away. And we should do that more often, because look what happens with the left out there. The left threw temper tantrums, and then they got their way. So then they started realizing, oh, I get it. If I make a fool of myself, if I scream and yell really loud, if I scream over the top of everybody else, if I make a big show of it, if I throw myself on the ground, kicking and screaming like a child, then mommy and daddy will get me whatever I want. Well, I wasn't going to teach my child that. And this woman just thought I was just the biggest asshole and proceeded to tell me that she was going to, because she overheard me say, well, I'm going to be over here. She thought that meant like I was leaving my child. And she proceeded to tell me she was going to call CSD. And I was like, you do that. You do you, Scotty P. And she was like, what? And got all crazy on me. And keep in mind, I was young at the time. And I was very young at the time, and I was like 24 at the time and looked younger than that. So I'm sure she was drawing conclusions and proceeded to tell me, yeah, she was going to call CSD. And then I said, well, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I basically, my exact words I don't know were, but I said, basically, do it. Go ahead. And she proceeded to follow me around until I went out to the parking lot, and I said, are you going to keep following me? And she said, oh, I just want to make sure that you're not going to hit your child. And I said, well, I'm not going to hit my child, but if you continue to follow me around, odds are I might smack you around a little bit, which was not okay for me to say. I was 24 and feeling annoyed and feeling attacked, and it wasn't her business. And she was making something her business that wasn't. I wasn't yelling at my child. I wasn't doing anything. So I shouldn't have said that, but at the time I meant it. So point being, it's frustrating because younger people are kind of told, well, take that personal time or throw a temper tantrum and you'll get your way. And now we're getting a bunch of weak humans. And I'm sorry, but it's kind of like like Darwinism. It's like the strong shall survive. And it's kind of always been throughout time, the strong shall survive. That's a hard sentence for me to say for some reason. It's like a tongue twister. Just like I can't say social security. Oh, that was the best I've ever said it because I had to really focus. But I don't believe in a bunch of what's that going to do for us as a society? What is that going to do as for the human race? We're just going to keep breeding these weak people. And then people are like, well, they can be smart. Great, you can be smart. I think we should promote healthy, strong, intelligent people. But we don't. This is America, and we're illiterate and obese, and we promote obesity. And we cheer obesity on, and we try to convince people that obesity is okay. It's you as a human. Nothing against you as a human. I'm sure that you're fantastic. If you're obese, I'm not saying you shouldn't love yourself. I'm not saying that you shouldn't like yourself and find yourself beautiful. But I'm saying you should find yourself unhealthy and you should lose weight. And no one should tell you otherwise. There shouldn't be anything else that you should say other than, yes, you may be an amazing human being. I'm sure you are. And I'm sure that you are, you should have confidence in yourself and you should believe in yourself and find yourself beautiful. But if you think all of those things of yourself, you should also want to live. You should want to be able to live and not have a heart attack and high blood pressure and bad knees and a bad back and all the things that come from being obese, diabetes. We all know the things, but yet we're promoting that, and we're promoting throwing temper tantrums. And so I didn't want my kid to think that doing that was okay and going to get him anywhere. So I walked away, and I was like, when you're done, come see me. I'll be over here. And until that woman decided that was terrible. That's the other thing. Why do people do that? Like, don't butt in. If someone's hurting their child, absolutely, I think you should butt in. I think you should, say something. But I don't feel like you should be commenting. You can comment in your brain, in your head about someone's parenting skills. But the people that go up to somebody else and are like, excuse me, that's so obnoxious. Honestly, like, get your own kid. Really? And most people that comment usually have shitty kids. Have you noticed that? Most people that have something to say about someone else's children either don't have kids at all or their kids are awful. So it's annoying. I mean, trust me, I've done it. I've looked at someone else's parenting skills and I'm like, really? That's obnoxious. But I don't say it to them. Like the ones that when their kid is screaming and yelling and we're all having to listen to it. I understand kids throw fits sometimes and the parent doesn't want it either. But then when you reward them by being like, basically, if you're quiet, I'll get you XYZ. I do judge. I can't help it. It drives me crazy when people do it. I'm not saying I've never, ever, ever done it. So, oh my gosh, there's been a time when my youngest son, who just always cried all the time, and I was exhausted from going to school and working, and I had another child, so I had two kids working full time, going to school, and I was exhausted. I'm not going to lie. I've done that a couple of times, and I was wrong for it. But it wasn't a consistent thing. It wasn't something I always did. It was, and maybe, you know, maybe that parent was exhausted and just like, fuck it here. I don't give a shit. Just let me get my groceries and whatever it takes to make you be quiet so I can get my groceries done here. So again, I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I don't know how much that person has gone through. And that's why we shouldn't say something. That's why we don't need to comment. We are not the police. Now, again, if that person is beating their child, then obviously we should intervene. I don't know how I just got on that long tangent, but weakness and stuff. Yes. So I'm not about it. I think that you should teach your kids to learn things that are productive in the world too. Like, I don't know what happened to like home ec and shop. I used to work at Job Corps, and I think Job Corps is the most awesome thing out there. And Job Corps is amazing because they teach you trades like welding, like seamanship, like dental hygienist assistant, like certified nurse's aide, like culinary, like business. And they do it while ages 16 to 24, at least that's what it used to be back when I worked there from 2000 to 2005. I don't know if they've changed since then, but it used to be you could be 16 to 24. You lived out like a dorm, basically, dorm style. Everybody had a place to live. And instead of paying tuition to get these, like seamanship alone, at least in Astoria, if you were to take that at Clatsop Community College, it's $5,000 per year or per term, per term, sorry. And they get this for free and they're in it for 3 years. And when they graduate, they have a program where they make a boatload of money. They make a lot of money. So they graduate knowing how to do this awesome skill, and they got it for free. But however, they had to stay on campus, keep their dorms clean. Every single morning, I know because I was the RA there that did it. I was the residential advisor. I was in charge of making sure that their living quarters, their bedrooms, their living room, their kitchen, their bathrooms were all clean, military style. And it was ran kind of like a military in a way. And then these kids would get up every morning. They would have to make their beds a certain way, like military style, have everything clean a certain way. They got inspected. If they did not pass inspection, they had to re-clean stuff. They got marked down, and they were not allowed to leave campus unless they had certain privileges that they've earned by keeping everything clean and all of that and not getting in trouble. But they earned it, and then they did on-the-job training. So they learned hands-on skills. They didn't just go to college and not actually practice stuff. These were hands-on tools. And no one just graduates without knowing what they're doing. You don't graduate until you actually know what the fuck you're doing. So I don't mind my tax dollars going to something like that. That's fantastic. You're learning actual trades that will actually benefit you and that you can make money, real money. I'm a photographer and I love liberal arts. I love art. I have art all over my wall. I freaking love art and I freaking love photography. But let's face it, you don't need to go to college for it. You don't have to. I'm not trying to offend those that did, but you don't have to. And it's not a trade that you necessarily make a lot of money. You can, but the percentage of people that actually make a lot of money that don't have to have a second job to substitute for the money they're not making by selling their photography and pictures, there's not a lot of people in the grand scheme of photographers and artists that make enough money to pay the bills off of it. They usually have to have a second job. So I feel like it's a hobby for others. So point being, when you're learning, I'm not knocking photographers. I love photographers. I love artists, love it. But these are trades that you're learning, like welding, seamanship, certified nurse's aid, stuff that you can go take out in the world and you're learning on the job. So if my tax dollars are going to that, and then these kids, like I said, they're held to standards. They have standards. They have rules and guidelines that they have to follow in order to get this free, quote, quote. It's free for them, not free for us, the taxpayers, um, but they're living there having to keep everything clean and conduct themselves like upstanding members of society. They're not allowed to get away with shit. That is fantastic to me. And unfortunately, those things are closing left and right. Why? And why don't we have shop and home ec? And why don't we have classes in high school that teach kids how to, well, I can't say balance the checkbook. Whoa, that shows my age. No one uses checks. I still get checks where I work all the time, but we have an older clientele and they still use checks. But why don't they teach them how to manage their money, how to pay bills, how to do a resume anymore? I feel like those skills are, and why don't we do cooking? Why is that a bad thing to teach men or women how to cook, how to sew? These are great life skills. If something ever happens, you know, um, going back to these skills like sewing and even learning how to make fire, like with flint and stone and shit, learning how to build shelters, things like you do in the Boy Scouts and stuff. I think these are really important tools just in general. And we're taking all of those away. And it's weird. We're replacing them with crap that kids don't really need out in the world. And whatever happened to, like, we used to have simulators for driver's ed. We had driver's ed in high school, and we had these simulators that made it look like you're driving a car on a road. And we got graded on it. We got graded on penmanship. Now, of course, you don't, because everything is on computer. You don't get graded on grammar or spelling or penmanship because the computer does it. It's sad. They don't even learn how to tell time anymore. It's all digital. It's not analog. It's analog. Is that the word? I think that's the word. I don't know. I'm educated in America. I'm illiterate. It's so weird. They're taking away stuff that I feel like, why? I understand that we have to keep up with the times and everything's computer now. But don't we still need to spell and, learn grammar and punctuation? I don't know. I feel like these are still great skills, but hey, this isn't a very Christmassy podcast, is it? I'm not in a bad mood. I'm really not. I'm in a great mood. Do you guys do resolutions? I don't do them. I know I've talked about this many, many times, but I am a Nike girl. I have to just do it. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about my goals or say these are my goals or say this is my resolution because I won't do it. If I talk about it, it's not going to happen. I have to literally just get up and do it. But do you guys there's nothing against resolutions. I'm not against them. I'm just saying for me, they don't work. But one of my friends said that she thinks of a word that she wants the new year to be like, or a word that she's going to focus on for the new year. And she asked what mine was. And I said, mine's going to be embrace. I'm going to embrace me being 50. I'm going to embrace change. I'm going to embrace confidence. I'm going to embrace just confidence, I should say. These are the things that I like that. I like thinking of a word that you want your year to be like, because then you're not like making a commitment. You're not making it's not that I have a commitment issue. I don't. I just have a resolution issue. But I like thinking of a word. So what would your word be? What is your word you're going to pick for 2025? What would you like that to be? What is it going to represent to you? What is it something you're going to focus on? Again, mine is embrace. Embrace the change, embrace my age, embrace my confidence, embrace life. You know, when you get older, you just realize exactly how valuable it is. So embracing life. Anyway, hey, you. Yeah, you. Thanks. Thank you so very much for tuning in and giving me a shot. Thank you for listening if it's your first time or you've been doing this since day one. I never think of new words or ways to phrase this. I don't know any other colorful way or cool way to say thank you. But thank you so very much. I genuinely appreciate every single one of you that's tuning in. Tell a friend, tell a coworker, tell everybody. But Merry Christmas to you. And like I said, if you don't celebrate Christmas, happy December 25th to you. I hope you guys have an excellent day and you embrace the day. Until next time.